Today, the Iranian New Year Newroz is celebrated by millions of people around the world. Although Newroz has its roots in ancient Persia, now Iran, it's also celebrated far beyond Iran's borders, not least in Sweden. Newroz, meaning new day, is celebrated to honor the arrival of spring and the rebirth of nature. It's the time to purify your heart and soul from evil, and then be reborn in complete purity with the truth as your guide. Newroz is also about hope, the hope that warmth will one day triumph over cold. This is a hope that the Iranian people have had for the past 30 years, as the Islamic regime has ruled the country with an iron fist. Lack of democracy and lack of respect for human rights is a serious and acute problem in the country. Iran has become the world's largest prison for journalists, while women are still stoned to death. Public executions in the country's streets and squares have become commonplace in Iran, while the country is increasingly isolated from the outside world. It is at such a difficult time that we should pay tribute to the Iranian people today as Newroz is welcomed around the world, because the dream of basic human rights and freedom is constantly present among the Swedish Iranians I meet, and like them, I'm convinced that light will triumph over darkness. Dear friends, some of you may wonder why I said 30 years in the message. The reason is that this is a Newroz greeting I published 14 years ago. A lot has happened in these 14 years, both politically and in my life. When there was a center-right government, I served it. When a socialist government came, I campaigned against it, as is my constitutional rights, in a country that has enshrined freedom of speech, democratic elections, and peaceful transfers of power. I also left the Swedish church, as is my constitutional rights, in a country that has freedom of religion granted me the right to do so. During visits to Iraq and Lebanon, I saw the utter destruction, including genocide, that Islamic extremism can cause. At the same time, I noted how Islamists were on the march in my own part of the world. I decided to make the fight against political Islam in Sweden, Europe, and Iran, as well as globally. This has been one of my top priorities. I also formed a family. I'm a proud father of 4 beautiful girls. They love reading, writing, gymnastics, and ice cream. Every day I see them getting more and more independent, and soon they will have their own life and make their own choices, fully free and independent. The steps along this road are small, but they happen every day. Not too long ago, my oldest daughter, for the first time, went to the store by herself. What a big moment that was for her. And for me. For her, this symbolized freedom. Meanwhile, during these last 14 years, Iranians have been living under the oppression of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Girls have grown without any expectation to ever be fully free. Never to have their full measure of independence. And those, both men and women, who challenged the government and used their freedom of speech, have been persecuted and often jailed or killed. So-called apostates have been persecuted for hudud crimes. Without freedom of religion, they don't have the choice of expressing what they believe or not believe. Neither has there been fully free elections or any peaceful change of system, despite the obvious will of the people. Iranian girls can only dream of the freedoms my daughters enjoy. But a new day is dawning. Tonight at 10:24 p.m. Swedish time, the new Persian year 2582 begins. May it be a year in which light truly overcomes darkness.